See if I need to hear one more person moan about their bastard and hair extensions. Did they learn nothing from Gemma Collins? Big Brother UK 2025, episode 24 and 25, and they're on basic rations after that piss poor attempt at that aeroplane task. So they're going through the cupboards. From what I've seen so far, they've got onions, tuna, porridge, butter, ingredients to bake bread. How is that basic rations? Aye, okay, they've got no salt and sugar, but to me, that is still not a basic ration. And that's coming from somebody who literally cannot eat anything without salt. Obviously, it's not only the food that's affected when they're on the basic shopping budget, they also get limited hot water and access to electrics. So Big Brother says the hot water and electrics will be on for 1 hour. Now, aye, okay, an hour's not a long time considering how many people's in the house, but fucking do better at a basic fucking task. So Elsie's in the middle of drying her hair, and the hairdryer goes off, and she's like, "Oh, Big Brother did that deliberately." Yes, he did do it deliberately, because he told you had 1 hour. And she's like, "Oh, my hair extensions. Oh, my hair's got to be frizzy, blah, blah, blah." And then Emily's like, "Aye, like, you can't dry your hair with a towel. You've got to dry it properly or your hair goes matted or whatever." I ask myself, over the years that they've been watching Big Brother, at what point did they decide to go in there and think, "Do you know what? Now's a good time to get hair extensions. I might have no hot water. I might have no hairdryer. Aye, fuck it. I'll just spend hundreds or thousands of pounds or however much it is for hair extensions so that I can just moan about it." Now, I get that they're going on TV and they want to look good, but surely they must have expected this would happen at some point. Emily was just saying, "Aye, okay, like, you're going to have problems. I've got problems with my extensions," but we didn't really see her moaning about it as much. Then Elsa put like her scarf or something over her head, and I thought, why didn't they just plait it? It was time to do the challenge where one housemate could win 50 eyeballs and then they could give 10 eyeballs each to 3 housemates. The housemates had to vote for who got the eyeballs and the vote had to be unanimous. So basically everybody chose Zila, and then when it got round to Caroline, she says, "Oh, I had already wrote Jenny," and then Frida voted for herself. So the eyeballs went down to 45. So at this point, Jenny's not happy. She's like, "No, I miss my ma, I miss my ma, I miss my ma." Even though everybody, pretty much everybody, had already voted for Zila, and he was sitting there thinking, "Oh God, I'm going to get 50 eyeballs." And they were told that they could get a message from home. So he had his hopes up, but she was like, "No, like, I need to fight for this or whatever." Right, okay, fine. But I still thought it was unfair. So the decision still wasn't unanimous and it went down to 40 eyeballs. Some people wanted Cameron to have the eyeballs and Jenny wasn't having it. She's like, "No, you already told me you weren't missing your ma because you used to get sent away to boarding school." And then Cameron was really upset because he's thinking, "Shit, my family's going to think that I'm not missing them." And then Cameron's like, "Oh, if I got it, like, I wouldn't use it on myself." Poor Cameron. He's got no confidence. And I know that I'll always say speak up for yourself or whatever, right? But I just felt so bad for him. So they all ended up fucking folding and giving Jenny the eyeballs. And she gave them to Tasia, Zila and Caroline. Why the fuck did she give them to Caroline? I've got no idea. So Cameron was really upset and he was in the smoking area explaining to Jenny that he really missed his grandparents and how, like, he didn't want them to think that they weren't missing him. And she's like, "Oh, it wasn't like that, it wasn't like that, right?" So then Caroline took her into the snug and she was speaking to her about it. And she had the fucking audacity to be like, "Oh, he sat and told me that he wasn't really missing them, and now that he's in a circle, he's standing up and saying he's missing them, he can get to fuck or he can fuck off or whatever." And I was like, "Do you know what, Jenny? You can fuck off." Keep in mind that Cameron and Jenny are supposed to be best friends in that house, and she's sitting there talking shit about him behind his back like that, when he's never said one bad word about her. And has he even said a bad word about anybody? I went live that night, and people in the comments were like, "Oh, I've went off Jenny, I've went off Jenny, I've went off Jenny." And some people are saying, well, this is how I felt about Jenny from the start. I feel like Sam and Nancy were right about her. And as I said, regardless of whether Sam and Nancy were right about her in the beginning, it doesn't matter, because they were saying that she was sneaky or she wasn't genuine or whatever. Well, they were speaking about her behind her back in code, so they still couldn't really say anything. Nancy was teaching Frida and Caroline about sexuality, and Frida came out with something like, "Oh, it's like a fashion now." And Nancy was saying, "Oh, no, it's not." But I must say, a lot of people do come out with things to make it because they think it's like the fashion, but that's not to say that that's everybody. But when Frida said that, Caroline was like, oh, you're going to get in trouble this time and I'm not going to get in trouble. And I think that Caroline and Frida are really getting along because Caroline loves the fact that Frida stirs the pot, but Caroline stirs the pot deliberately. Frida's not really meaning to do it, she's just being autumn, and then it comes across to people like, oh my god, what the fuck. Zila was in the diary room upset because he thought he was going to get the eyeballs and then he didn't. And he says, I'm trying to like enjoy all my time here because Faye surely could be going tomorrow. Then Faye surely got evicted. On the Late and Live show, she was saying that she thought that her and Caroline were really close and she had no idea that Caroline had this vendetta against her. So I seen a video the other day after she got evicted saying that she said that she was only evicted because she's black, right? Now I have not seen any evidence of this. I don't know if the person's talking crap. Let me know in the comments if you've actually seen her say this. You know how people like to just talk shit. So I was speaking to my brother the other day and we were talking about the eviction and he says, did you notice that Caroline was dressed like a gypsy, right? And I says, well, I just liked her outfit. I didn't think anything of it. But then in tonight's show, you seen her, the way she was dressed, and Nancy was saying, oh, I think it's appreciation. And honestly, I just really thought she looked good. I mean, it's not my place to be offended if she was dressed up as a gypsy or a traveller, or if she just had that outfit on and it looked nice. Elsa and Marcus were in bed and they were saying that they don't really have any deep conversations, and he says, oh, you never really asked me anything. And I'm sure that other people have mentioned this before. So in this episode they were saying, oh, we're getting to know each other, and she was asking him what was on his bucket list and stuff like that. Big Brother told the housemates that Faye Shula passed her 4 eyeballs on another housemate and they all thought it was going to be Zila. But she left them to Tasia. And I think she did that in a way to be like, you know, I've got other people who are important to me in the house. It's not just Zila. Tonight's task was a slot game. They had to go into 3 teams of 3 and one person had to be left out. And they were asked questions like, who would marry for money? Who would be missed the least in the house and stuff like that. So 3 of the housemates win 10 eyeballs each and 3 of the housemates win 20 eyeballs each. Now I must admit, when I seen the first look at this, I thought it was going to be a lot more dramatic than it was, but it was alright. So tonight, Elsa was opening up about seeing spirits and seeing demons and all the rest of it, right? And I seen the first look of the day and I said, she has got mental health problems. Now when I say that about somebody, I do not mean that in an offensive way, right? I'm just saying there's something wrong. As somebody who believes in ghosts, who has seen ghosts, who has seen many different things, right? I don't believe in demons. And so therefore to me, I'm like, even though something happened to me years ago that would be probably described as a demon interaction, I still don't believe in demons. So when Jenny said to Elsa, like, have you spoke to somebody? Elsa was like, oh, this has been happening since I was 3. So, I mean, if a 3-year-old can be so affected that they've got mental health problems, yes, they can. Children can have mental health problems the same as adults can, especially when they've went through trauma or whatever else. Now listen, Elsa seems perfectly comfortable having these demons and spirits around her, and that's all fine and well. But what I don't understand is, Jenny's obviously like, oh, I've never heard anything like this in my life, I've never heard anything like this, I would get the house blessed. What I will say is, even though I don't believe in demons, if I did believe in them and I thought they were in the house, the last thing I would do is get the house blessed. Has she never watched any horror film that involves demons in her life? That'll make it 10 times worse. But why is Elsa getting so offended by it? Like, there's things that I believe in and people think I'm crazy. And if somebody says to me, I don't believe that, I think you're crazy, I'll just be like, well, I think you're crazy for not believing in it. It's that simple, we don't have to agree. But then in the end, Jenny went to Elsa and says, I meant, have you seen a priest or a doctor? Like, it's not normal, like what you're seeing. Which is a fair assessment of the situation. Like, why the fuck is Elsa being so sensitive about it? And now Marcus is kind of like, don't know what's going on here. But let me know what you thought of the last 2 episodes, and I'll see you again next time. I think I'm going to go live tonight as well. Bye!